This video is my part 2 about controversial topics. And if you haven't watched part 1, go ahead and do that and then come on back. My name is Amy Brown. I make videos about friendship and Aldi finds and Amazon products that I love and all sorts of things like that. And if that interests you, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. YouTube pushes my channel out more when I get that kind of interaction from all of you watching, and I do appreciate it. Now let's dive right in. My first item for today is you don't have to love every stage of life. This is challenging the idea that you have to embrace and adore every life phase. Like my 20s were great, my 30s were great, and it's okay to admit that some seasons, and those seasons can be long, those seasons can be a decade, they could be 2 decades. They're just hard, and that's okay. And we don't have to love every season. I, in college, was going to my dermatologist for my normal acne sessions. And it was during exams, and I was stressed out and a little bit down. And he asked me, he was a younger guy, he hadn't been a dermatologist that long. And he asked me how things were going. And I said, it's okay. Without even meaning to, be a downer. I just wasn't having a great day. I think I'd had one exam that didn't go as well as I wanted it to. And he stopped for a second and he said, everyone tells you have to love your college years. They're the best years of your life and you should be so happy. And he's like, I hated college. He's like, I hated my college years. And he's like, I've been so much happier after college in life. And it was just really helpful to me in that minute. I really needed to hear that from someone. And, it came from my dermatologist, which is fine. And I'm with him 100% on that topic. The next up, I'm going to hear about this one. The comments are going to be rolling. Modern take on feminism. Feminism, if I can get the word out. Somehow, being a feminist has become a dirty word. It's become a word that young women have avoided being associated with. And it's just fallen out of fashion, and I don't know why. Why has that happened? Why? I am a proud feminist, and I don't know when it happened. 10, 15 years ago, the tables switched, and now all of a sudden, that's not something that women want to say, and they don't. You just really rarely hear that. So I'm going to challenge the notion that about women not wanting to be associated with that term, and I want to say that I am a proud feminist. And women today, the saying, women today run because they're standing on the work that the women many generations before them had done, like the suffragettes, etc. So we'll see the comments on that. The next one is, this is really random. These are all over the place. They're in no order. Sunscreen. Sunscreen. I used to be a person that never would show any skin in the sun without, SPF 50 or preferably 70. And I still wear sunscreen on my face every single day. But I now like to have some sun on my arms and on my legs. When I go out, I don't immediately put sunscreen on my body. I don't want to get burned, of course. But I've read a few studies about the necessity for healthy vitamin D levels and getting vitamin D from the sun versus supplements. And there's a lot of mixed opinions, and the experts do not agree on this topic. So I have chosen to have a bit of sun exposure these days Again, very, very moderate. As you can see, I'm quite pale. Um, but it was long-standing advice, the second you go in the sun to apply sunscreen. So as more data comes out, I could change my mind and make a different video with updated information. But for me personally, that's what I'm doing right now. The next one is one that I really feel passionately about, so I'm excited to talk to you about it, is that college isn't the only path. A four-year degree is not the only path to a thriving, successful, happy life. And college is absolutely essential for certain jobs, obviously. If you want to be a nurse, a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, you must go to college. You must earn those degrees. However, the great majority of people don't necessarily have to go to college. They can consider trade school or being an entrepreneur. And when I grew up, the only path forward was, a four-year degree. Four-year degree. If you were at all, if your high school advisor thought you were at all intelligent, that's what they pushed. What I'm really sorry to see is high school advisors not pushing community colleges to bright kids. They think, oh, you're a bright kid, you get really good grades, you have to go immediately to a four-year university. They completely do these students a disservice by not touting the many benefits of attending a community college for 2 years, and also the benefits of going to a community college for a trade, for a skill. And I am a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk, and he talks about this topic all the time, and how, especially with social media and all the jobs that are the new jobs, the new careers that didn't even exist 20 years ago, you do not need a college degree to be successful in these up and coming fields. And again, parents, this is really hard. I grew up thinking a four-year degree was the only, four-year university was the only path. I'm sure many of you did the same. So it's a hard, it was a hard shift. But watching Gary Vee over the years, he is wise beyond his years. And he showed me another. Next up is a controversial topic. You know the saying, don't ever talk about politics or religion. So I'm going to talk about religion. Why the heck not? I've already talked about churches in my former videos. So my next topic is karma, and you will hear all about karma and manifesting all over social media, and that's been that way for probably 10, 20 years. But I'm a Christian, and the karma thing just doesn't vibe with what I know about Christianity. Karma, talking about, it guarantees a balanced end, and I'm probably not even getting this right, so please correct me in the comments. But of course, with Christianity, there is no eye for an eye. You're supposed to leave vengeance for the Lord. So this very common, popular karma. Well, that's karma. You'll get yours, karma. I'm throwing that out. I never was into karma, but I see it all over social media, and I know a lot of the people that say it would identify themselves as Christians, and I think they possibly just don't understand what they're saying. Next up, 10 step skincare routines are a scam. There are all sorts of social media influencers out there talking about their skincare routines, and many of them are truly 10 steps plus. That is insane. Now listen, I'm a girly girl. I love skincare, castor oil, absolutely. I'm always on the hunt for the latest serum to put on my face. But really, what you're looking at is cleansing your face and maybe putting on a serum or two or castor oil. And this 10-step routine is just marketing. No one, I don't care who you are, you don't need a 10-step routine. And I look, just out of curiosity, I'll watch some of these videos and I'll click on one item. They'll talk about a toner, for example, and they're like, this toner is amazing. And it sounds so good. And I click on the link and it'll be $150. $150. And that's only one item in this massive routine. So while I'm all for a great skincare routine, and I have one, but the excessive skincare routines are just a scam. And here's one I think a lot of people will agree, not everybody, that doctors are not always right and traditional medicine may not always be the answer. And just the idea of getting second opinions and looking at alternative holistic approaches is something that I've definitely been into pretty much my entire life. And my husband and my daughter are in the medical field, and I still say that, the doctor isn't always right. They're right the majority of the time, absolutely, and good thing they are. But they are not God, and you should do your own research, and you should always be your own medical advocate for you, and if you are a caregiver, for the people that you take care of. So let me know down below things that you are letting go, beliefs that don't fit your life anymore, and let's get the conversation going. Thanks for watching.